It happens, yes, it happens every spring. The tears that go with sulfur and molasses. The outstretched nickels when the ice cream wagon passes. A rippling stream sounds like a rippling heart as Mother Nature proudly spreads her new green carpet. Be patient, lonely one, your love will come along. Your autumn heart will find a song to sing. Then raindrops will be dancing to the tune of it. The carefree day in April, May, June of it. And remember, it never rains, but what it pours. And maybe raindrops will be whispering, the spring is yours. And maybe raindrops will be whispering.
Can you hear me now? We good? Check 1 2 1 2. Okay, we're good. New headphones. So we're struggling here to get the headphones. I'm trying to get the headphones to freaking be a monitor so I can hear if I'm clipping the audio or not. Anyway, I want to say a huge thank you to the new students here. Rennie O, Patrick S, Indrashish D, Anika E, Joseph C, Vincent, Michael, JP, Ross, Mark, Galileo, Michael. Welcome to Full-Time Game Dev. And by the way, guys, if you want to learn not only how to make a game in Godot or Unreal, Unity, obviously we should start with Unity because that's my favorite. Unity, Godot, Unreal, if you want to learn how to make games in those engines. My mic just fell over. Today's falling apart. And that's okay. Check out Full-Time Game Dev below. It's 25% off for the next 5 days, depending on when you click that link. When you click the link below, it'll generate a 5-day coupon for you. 5-day coupon. Check it out below, and you're also going to learn not only how to make a game, whether it's 2D or 3D, Godot, Unreal, Unity, take your pick. You're going to learn how to pitch it, whether it's Unreal, an Unreal game that you pitch to Devolver, or a Unity game that you pitch on Kickstarter and get funded on Kickstarter. That's what this course is for. And you're also going to learn how to hit the Steam front page, which I've done multiple times as well. All of these things I've actually done. That's the cool part about this course. And by the way, if you're a student, let me know in the chat what you think about the program. Yeah, I think that's it. 25% off next 5 days. Anything else that we need to cover before we jump into Unity here? No, I think that's it, guys. Oh, let me pull up the chat. Yep. Thank you, Bayonet. Thank you so much. All right. So you guys can hear the audio now. That's good. I'm going to pull up the chat. On YouTube, and we're going to hang out, guys, and get started. And I'll answer questions as we work together on these changes. So feel free to ask questions if you got any about game dev, all that cool stuff. Hey, Tuck Mac, how you doing? Did you guys know that it's gotten to the point now where when I'm working and I'm not live streaming, I'm really, really lonely? I prefer to live stream while I make games. In fact, today I was writing music And I'm learning Cubase. Cubase is actually really cool. Let me show it to you guys. Do you guys want to see Cubase? I'm learning Cubase, and the whole time I was writing music, I wanted to talk. So that's just how I create now, is I have to sort of verbally process how I'm creating. It's potentially a problem. I can show you guys Cubase if you want to see it. It's basically Logic Pro for PC. We need a music live stream. Well, let's do a few bugs here while we open up Cubase. Right here, the goal is to export a playable build with these various fixes and export it to... Guys, this is so important. And it's so hard to do. It hurts to do, but you have to do it. You export a build that's fully playable. It's essentially a rough cut. Okay, if you were a director, you do a rough cut. And I actually was listening to a podcast episode with Theo Vaughn and who's that guy? He was on recently. Go ahead and look it up, guys. There's a director who was on. Why can't I remember his name? It's so close. Anyway, the director was on, and he was just saying that if you don't feel miserable watching the rough cut of your film, you've done something wrong. Yeah, Ben Affleck, that's who it was with. And the same is true with games, guys. When we export this full build and we let people play it, and these are going to be advisors who play it, if it's not like, ooh, oh boy, bad feedback, if that, something's wrong. Okay. You guys ready to take a look at Unity here? We have a few things here. Add exterior to the floor map. Yep. What's wild about the Ben Affleck podcast, there's several things that are wild about the Ben Affleck podcast. One of the things that's wild about that podcast is how manic he seemed. He's not that chill character that he plays, that sort of robotic, masculine, calculated, moody character. He was like just going. And I don't have a problem with it. I'm just saying that that's what it was. Let me open up something here really quick, guys. Yeah, exactly. CGI guy says, bruh, I released a game for my game jam. And then when you see streamers finding bugs or not getting what to do, you panic and you start to take notes. That's so funny. Absolutely. That's exactly how it feels. Okay. Let's do this. All right, guys. The first issue we had, my ADD is so bad these days. I'm pretty sure I have ADD. I say have ADD because I don't like to talk that way about things. But I definitely feel like the symptoms of ADD are pretty prominent in my life. But I don't want to do anything about it because I feel like it's an asset. Exterior and floor maps. That's why a list is so valuable. So there's a map here on floor 0 that we need to adjust. And this is before we do a playable build sent to our advisors, okay? So we want the game to be as good as it can be, fully playable with no real bugs. And so this right here, this map is wrong, okay? Does caffeine help my ADHD or ADD or whatever it's called? Yes, 1000%. Tower top. Lightspeed Land, Cloud Casino, Welcome Center, Lobby. That's good, actually. Now, what we're going to do, this lobby here, I'm going to make it small. like this, because there are 2 levels here that are going to be called Fairground Forest. So there's the lobby, and there's going to be this "you are here" thing. Although I will say, what's this? Yeah, we don't need that. Yeah, there's 2 levels on the side here of the lobby called Fairground Forest. And so we need to sort of extend those out on this map. We're going to do our best. Now, why are we doing this? This is something to keep in mind for your game. Giving the player a destination and a sense of place. In film, it would be an establishing shot. Some faraway shot that shows you where you are, and then bringing the camera in closer to the characters. That's super valuable in games. Giving some kind of establishing shot. So in this case, it's something like an establishing shot. You're telling the player where they're going to go, right? Okay, so we have these rectangles here. I think I'm going to go ahead and just rasterize this. And I'm going to bring it in here. So this is going to be the forest level. I'm going to have some kind of green trees. And I wonder if we can have it say Fairground Forest somewhere else. We're going to have to figure this out. I'm not quite sure how we're going to do this, but we're going to figure it out. We have to play around with this a little bit. We'll do a green. Okay, something like this. Let's just hit save and take a look. Okay. So we have an issue with, I believe, the metallic map. So we'll fix that. And we're going to make these thinner here. We want to give the player an idea of where they're going, okay, guys? Okay. There we go. That should be good enough. Let's take a look. Yeah, that feels all right. And maybe we could have this sort of be a mystery. So do like a question mark here or something, or just trees. Just something to indicate that there's more to the lobby. I'm going to fade out these sides here. And we'll clean this up here in just a sec, guys. Why can't I do that? Hold on. Yeah, there's some issues there down there with that golden piece there. Photoshop is connected. Gerber, this is often a major. I don't know why this is such a big deal to people, and I'm not trying to single you out. I'm trying to help you. Photoshop has always been able to connect to Unity. Always. I never save things as PNGs. Ever, 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 ever. Never, ever, ever. That's a big no-no for me. That way we can just save it on the fly. The same is true with Blender. All right, let's go to the metallic. Well, let's add some trees. So what we need to do here, I'm going to go to Noun Project. For some reason, Noun Project, speaking of things hooking up to Unity. Noun Project. It does look off-center, doesn't it? We could fix that. Yep. Oh, yeah. It connects to... Oh, it looks like we need to upgrade... Let's see here. Okay, I'm on Noun Project. Let's type in tree, pine. And this is basically going to be a pine tree that we place throughout the image, throughout the map, just to say, hey, this is an area of the game you probably haven't been to yet. Is it off center? I think it is. Let's do this. Okay, yeah, it's off center. Dang it. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna try and grab those pieces. This is a terrible way to make this, by the way. We're gonna copy that, delete that, and clean this up here. There we go. Paste that there. There we go. Okay, that pine tree here. Just gonna put it over here and create sort of a forest. This will be all we need to do to signify that the player is able to go somewhere. Maybe even do a little Ferris wheel there. We don't want to be too specific, but I think overall. Okay. Look, we can make them look like there's depth there. Now, some of you are probably thinking, you know, this doesn't look like the 1950s, blah, 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 blah. We're at the point in the game's development where we just got to get stuff done. So there's only so much I can do here as a one-man team. This right here, we're just going to put that right here. There we go. And then this one we need to move down. And then we're going to take all these trees, merge them together as one. That way we can cut them out right here. Okay. And now, one final thing, guys. We're going to do a color overlay of green. There we go. So the player will wonder, ooh, is it possible to go over there, right? Is there more to the map than this? There we go. Now, you're probably noticing, why does it look wrong, you know? And that's because we need to go to our metallic map here. And we need to grab these pieces here and this here. Is there anything else? That's about it. Merge those together, copy them, and then I can just put them there like this and do color overlay of white. If it's white in the metallic map, it means that it'll be super metallic and shiny, right? There we go. Does that work? It's the albedo, I believe. Let's take a look here. Okay, yeah, let's go to the albedo here. The alpha on the albedo needs to be white. And then we also need to adjust the normal map as well. Okay, the UR here, hang on one sec. Yeah, this right here, the UR here is gone for some reason. Where'd it go? Or tower map, that's gone. Did I remove it? No, I didn't remove it. I think it was only in the metallic, which I think is a bad call. Watch this. There it is. I'm going to be pretty unprofessional here. And I'm going to grab, let's see here. I'm going to do it with just a new text box here. Tower map, we're going to do Michelle. And drop down this. And by the way, those who are just joining us, just check out, feel free to check out Full-Time Game Dev below, which is my massive course. Teaches you how to go full-time indie. I can't make any promises. I can just tell you what I've learned. If making a video game from your bedroom is something you're interested in, it's the perfect course for you. Check it out below. See if it's something you're interested in. You're going to learn everything I've learned in the last decade of making indie games. And that includes learning a game engine like Unity, Unreal, Godot, learning 2D or 3D, learning how to code, learning how to hit the Steam front page, how to market your game, how to reach out to the press, how to get publishers to fund your game, how to get Kickstarter to fund your game. And I've done all of this, so be sure to check it out below if you're interested. And if you're a student, let me know in the chat. Okay, that looks pretty good. I'm going to go to play mode here. That, to me, is great. I think we definitely need a Ferris wheel, though. So I'm going to go to Noun Project here. Raghav says, it's just a map. There's no need to spend a whole live video on a map. Okay, I can turn the live stream off if you want. Raghav wants us to spend only live streams doing real game stuff, not this fake stuff. Let's see here. Where's a Ferris wheel that looks like a Ferris wheel? That one's all right. Are you going to localize Twisted Tower text and UI for other languages? Yep, that's on the list, which is, I believe, here. Yeah, localization. That's hopefully going to be done by June 30th. I think it will. I mean, I might even go so far. Dare I say? I bet you I can get the localization system built in a day. I really do. I'm having a blast. I could really go for some Zen. This is a good day. I'm starting to feel it. I was waiting for that. It's classic. It's there is a feeling you get where it's a rhythm, and you know when you don't have it. You can just tell. And I finally found it. What's the point, guys? Why are we doing this? Again, the point is to show the player what they're about to get. Okay? You're giving them an incentive to play the game. Hopefully when they see this, they go, oh, there's a Ferris wheel. And there's a freaking roller coaster? Are you kidding me? I want to keep playing, right? I had a dream about the story of Twisted Tower 2 days ago. A whole story appeared in my dream. And it wasn't good. So. But it was interesting. It was very interesting. I'm not going to tell you because it might get you guys excited and I don't want to do it. There we go. This one's cool. Can you even swap assets depending on the language? You can. I refuse to do it though. Any asset, like a visual asset, I do not swap languages. I only do the subtitles and the UI for the menus. Everything else, including button icons, all of that, opening doors, it shouldn't say open door. It should be a door icon so that you don't have to localize all of the interactables in the game. That's a big no-no in my book. Know what I mean, guys? That's a big no-no in my book. Brilliant. These little thingies here I'm going to remove for that bottom right one. And there we go. What will be the future live streams when you stop the TT dev streams? I might do more like just playing around, writing music, having fun, learning, doing 3D art for fun. Okay, that looks good to me, man. The Tower Top, Lightspeed Land, Clown Casino, Welcome Center, Mermaid Palace. Lobby, you are here. Hey, that's good, guys. I don't think we need to do anything else with that. Anything else we need to do? Well, no. Let's go ahead and knock that off our list. Praise the Sun says it looks like mountains, not a roller coaster. Really? I think it looks like a roller coaster just fine. Add exterior to floor maps. Fix map. That's done. Ensure grapple and pickups all show hints. Ooh. Ensure buttons are not properly finishing. Floor -2 and exteriors. So this is interesting. I'm going to deactivate this one here and see if this works. Basically, the problem here is in order to get to floor -2, and this was something that I talked to with 3D Realms, my publisher. What we wanted to do is reduce the consistency of the game loop, which I know sounds backwards. But the problem was that it was get the elevator key, go on the elevator, get the elevator key, go on the elevator, get the elevator key, go on the elevator. And so what, anyway, so in this case, getting to floor -2 is not going to be possible. But getting to floor -1 will. And then you go from floor -1 through a hole in the ground down to floor -2. Okay? So there's that. My theory is floor -1 should complete if we get... Yeah, no, we should be good. Floor -1 should complete the moment we get the green medallion. Let's see here. Hang on. That's not true. The moment we get the card for floor 3. Yeah. Which is -1. That's the wrong one. It should be -1. Which is right there, I believe. What's this one? 2? Yep. Okay, so this one will complete this one. Right? Okay. Now, I know none of this makes sense to you guys. For those of you who aren't like religiously following the streams. Essentially what I've just done here is I've made it so that if you get floor 3's ticket, it will complete floor -1. Which means I can't go back to floor -1. Which is good. Because you should not be able to go to floor -1 after you've gotten the third floor ticket. It's a big no-no. Now there's a loophole there that I won't tell you, but I'll fix the loophole later. Right now that should be fine. The next issue here is one other issue here is how do you get back? If I want to go to the exterior again, is that a problem? Let me think here. I don't think it is. So that's I think that's all fixed. I'm gonna go ahead and clear it up. Okie dokie. Project Patty says, I woke up with a racing heart and a cold sweat. My wife asked me if I had a nightmare. I said through a shaky voice and tears that I had to refactor the whole game. Yep. The things that keep me up at night, and it's becoming less and less of a problem the older I get, honestly. The things that keep me up at night are wondering if I'm ever going to finish the freaking game, to be completely honest. That's what scares me. You feel like game dev is the equivalent of who's the let's look it up. Sisyphus. It makes me feel like Sisyphus. And short buttons are not properly finishing. Floor -2 and exteriors. That's good. That's done. And sure right click shows up when picking up the needler. Oh, that's definitely important. Why is that a problem? Let's take a look. This is why I feel like the game needs to be $15. Because when I see this, it looks like a small indie game. It's like, oh, there's like 7 or 8 floors. But the truth is that it's not true. That's the thing, is like there's 2 other levels on the outside. There's a beach level. There's a boss. You just read my mind, Minoy. Minoy says, I see Toon Shader and Pixel Look as a potential idea. I quickly wanted to know if you had thought of dithering on the textures or an overall screen space shader. Yeah, so guys, toon shading, for those of you who are curious, toon shading removes 2 things. It removes metallic, and it removes specular. That's really this is toon shading, and I'm very, very tempted in this game to anchor expectations. I call it expectation anchoring, and it's nothing profound, but expectation anchoring is great for indie games because you can make a game that's inspired by something like a AAA game like BioShock. However, the player knows that they're supposed to expect something simpler when they see this. Does that make sense? The problem with this is that now it's not as scary, or it's not as you're thrown out. You're not grounded in reality anymore. But if we were to do something like this, what is this, by the way? This little thing cutting through this. I don't know what it is, honestly. But if I were to do this and do like a inscription vibe, or what would you say, click holding vibe, you could do 256 with a point no filter and do something like that. You'd probably want to do 512 though. So if you did a pixelated tune look, you could potentially ground people's expectations more. But we're not going to do that right now. We're not going to do that right now. I've always had a soft spot for tune shading. I'm tempted daily to turn this into a tune shaded game. So, I mean, clearly this is a higher fidelity and it looks amazing, but I worry that the player's expectations aren't going to be met. It's a fear-based decision, and that's why I try not to make decisions based out of fear. I'm certainly not perfect. Okay, what were we doing? Ensure grapple in all pickups. Show the hint. So let's go ahead and just give the player we're going to do the first one, which is the needler pickup. Let's grab that and see if it gives us a hint. I mean, it would definitely fix dropped frames. I mean, it wouldn't fix it, but it would help. Because you're basically reducing... Guys, this is the beauty of tune shading. You're reducing the material settings by like a third of what they are. You're just doing specular.
What the hell happened here?
Whoops, why did I max out? Hang on. Unity lighting definitely is worse than Unreal, but it looks different than an Unreal game. That's always a benefit. There's so many Unreal games that are made, and no offense, seriously, no offense to anyone who's a brilliant high schooler, because there are brilliant high schooler developers. But most high schooler games
What the hell happened
that are made in Unreal, why do you keep maxing out? Most high schooler games, they look like Unreal games. You get your assets, you put the lights in, and you add in a first-person controller, and you put some scary music, and there you go.
What the hell happened here?
So look at, there's no right click there. All right, for some reason it's not showing the right click effect or the right click hint. Does length equal price? No, Jay. No. Value is determined by a lot of things other than length. Size matters, but it's not everything. So for some reason we're not getting a hint there, which really sucks. It's a real shame, honestly. Whoo! Weapon manager. Is it there? Right click to explode photons. That's good, I guess. Secondary fire action. What? What is this? Crap. What is happening here? Let's double check something here. Oh boy. Maybe it's in the weapon itself. We need some kind of hint. So the moment you shoot, it should then have like a hint. That sucks. I think what we need to do, guys, is we need to create a tutorial card for this. Yeah, I think we need to do a tutorial card for this. So we're going to do tutorial overlay. Let's just do dash for now and see if this works. Basically, the moment I get this, I need a tutorial card to appear, and it needs to explain it. Really sucks. Crap. Wait. Hang on. Let's do this really quick. There's a pickup that already does this, and we need to look at how the code is handled. Okay, I've got an issue here. We need to look and see. The grapple and all pickups show hints. The grapple shows a hint when I pick it up. Okay. If I press E, it shows me this. If I press backspace, it tells me to grapple, press middle mouse button. Okay, that works. So how is this handled? Let's double check. Player ability pickup. And then there's a tooltip here, right? So we need to go ahead and bring this line of code. Yeah, okay. We need to bring this code into the weapon pickup as well. That's pretty much it. I love to pay. I love to play Twisted Tower. If we take a look at this, let's see. Oh my. Here's our tip. So we're going to go to a weapon pickup and add this function to that. This is definitely redundant and ugly, but it's fine. Towards the end, oddly enough, towards the end of development, that's when I get less picky about my code, because I knew that I'm almost done and I'm going to be able to throw this code out. Okay, we have the tooltip and the action name. So if we go here, and do this right here. I wonder why. What's the problem here? Wait, what? What am I doing? What's wrong here? Why is this not working? Oh. There we go. All right, so those are added. So the tooltip will be... Actually, sadly, the tooltips will also need to be localized. That needs to be localized as well, which is fine. Show tip, string ID, ability pickup. What does that mean? Let's double check and see what's going on there. So if we, where is the ID being used? If activated tips contains IDs, what? Oh, that I see. It's just a save state basically, and if it's been done, then it doesn't do it again basically. Cool. Okay, let's double check and see if this works. I have my theories that it won't. I'm gonna do a little. That's why I'm gonna do a little debug.log here. Debug.log already activated. Tip already used tip. My daughter is just screaming downstairs. Hey, Thomas, you mentioned in the stream before you would want to go for your next game, RE4, and I just retracted my message. Okay. Okay. Where'd my music go? Okay. Well, let's go to our needler. Where was it? It's right here. We're going to give it to the player. We're going to go to pick up needler. Tooltip is, what's the action name? Well, let's double check. Let's go to our input actions. Our input, there it is. It's going to be right click, secondary fire. Yep. I believe that's what it is. Tooltip to explode photons, or explode photons. There we go. That's it. Please God, Lord, will you make this work for me? Even if I did it wrong, Lord, will you make it work? Pick up needler. Here we go.
What the hell happened here?
Null reference exception. So for some reason it didn't work. We need to clear out a lot of these debugs. Whoa. It's not a debug. So for some reason it didn't work. Boy, I don't know, Ray. Ray Castley Games says, Thomas, do you think you made the right call releasing the demo right before Next Fest versus many months before? Well, definitely, in my opinion, don't release it many months before Next Fest. I was told by a publisher that's very, very, they're in this genre, an indie game publisher in this genre. And it wasn't my publisher, but it was a different publisher. They said release the day of Next Fest. I'm really happy with the results of the demo. over 1,000 reviews, plenty of Let's Players playing the game. We were at the top charts. We got like 50 to 60,000 wish lists out of it. So, yeah, I think that, well, it might have been like 45 or something, but no. It was like 55,000 or something. No, it was like 60. Oh, Thomas, you silly game dev. If we take a look here at the weapon pickup, this isn't firing. If tooltip does not equal, then show tip with fade out automatically true. Y'all, I was playing Resident Evil 4, the remaster, yesterday, and I realized that some games, and maybe I'm just stupid, but some games, they just say, look, if you can't figure it out, you can Google it. Because I was playing the lake on Resident Evil 4 remaster, and there's these symbols you have to memorize in certain areas to unlock doors that are necessarily unlocked. You have to unlock them. I had no idea what to do. And so I had to Google it, and I read the comments, and people were saying how, yeah, like I didn't know what to do, so I had to Google it. So anyway, I guess that what I'm saying is, it might be okay that the player, for some reason, misses this.
What the hell happened here?
Okay, still didn't do it. What are all these null reference exceptions? If that exists. Well, yeah, but Mike, I don't know if... I didn't really rely on wish lists for the demo. You know what I mean? I didn't notify any of my wish listers. Well, yeah, I didn't notify any of my wish listers until like 3 days before Next Fest. So I launched the demo a week prior, and then I waited to notify my wish listers until 3 days prior to Next Fest. Okay, so it's still not showing up. So let's double check something here. We're going to do a little bit of a debug.log here. Show tooltip. Right? And then we're going to go to show tip. It's going to do all this stuff here. Ability pickup. Input action name. Huh. If fade out automatically does not equal true, return. What? But if it's true, then it will set the trigger to fade. And then there should be a debug that occurs here that says debug.log show tooltip whatever the text is plus the input name. I don't know why this isn't working, but we're gonna get this to work, I promise. Show us the tip, says Project Patty. Okay, here we go. Check 1 2 1 2. How's the audio, guys? A little quiet. Check 1 2 1 2. There we go. I'll try and answer questions.
What the hell happened here?
Show tip. Explode photon secondary fire. So for some reason, it didn't do it. And I think it has something to do with the animator. I'm going to remove this for now and see if that fixes it, okay? This isn't causing a problem. It's for some reason it's not showing it. It's setting all the correct text information, but it's not showing it. How many wish lists did I have going into Next Fest? I think something like 35,000. And then once Next Fest hit, we're almost at 100,000. Try again.
What the hell happened here?
There it is. And it automatically fades out. Now that's set to right mouse bumper. Why? Why did it freaking say right mouse bumper? That's not correct. Why did that happen? Right mouse button. RMB. Right mouse bumper. Right mouse button. Yeah, we're good. There we okay, good. I'm gonna make that fade out not so quick, and then we're rock solid. That's done. Josh Torres, yeah, kind of. Josh Torres says, personally, I think your YouTube/devlogs took the place of having a demo open for a long time. Yeah, it wasn't a ton of wish lists though. 30,000 is fine. But and I don't actually know if I agree with Ray Castley. People say that, well, those are devs, and I'm like, I don't really know if that matters. I've been going back and forth on this. Don't devs play games? That's like saying people, if you targeted people who use the bathroom, you're not going to get no, if you target pilots, you're not going to get people who use the bathroom. You're targeting pilots who fly planes and they don't use the bathroom. It's like, what? No, pilots do use the bathroom. The thing about targeting devs is it's just you're not going to get a lot of views. You're still going to get wish lists. You're still going to get players, but you're just not going to get as many. They're not as high value because with games they sell. Okay, games sell for $15, $15 to $25, right? Indie games. So you need a lot of wish lists and a big audience to make good money. That's why in my space, which is YouTube game dev, not YouTube gaming, YouTube game dev, I don't sell my games very much on my channel. I sell resources because resources have a higher price, okay? Learning knowledge material is a higher priced good or product. So you can have a smaller audience, but the revenue is good because you can sell higher priced resources and materials like that. So assets, educational material, training, coaching, all that stuff is more expensive than a $20 game. So you kind of have to think about like, okay, if I want to make money as a YouTuber or use YouTube to my advantage, what's the price of the product? If the price of the product is small, you need a bigger audience. If the price of the product is big, you can use a smaller audience. But I do both, right? So I sell games on Steam and this is my third commercial release, but I also, like that banner below, I also sell courses as well. One of the many ways Thomas is a sleazy businessman. Apparently. I've seen many YouTubers target game devs and do very well from it. You know, here's the thing, guys. This is what people get confused by. Here's what people get really confused by. And I had a conversation with Chris Sikowski about this on the podcast. People are like, well, YouTube, they assume that if you're doing YouTube devlogs, that's your only way of making money. And that's the only way of getting wish lists. It's like, no. YouTube is the spark. And then hopefully the Steam algorithm sees that you're getting a lot of wish lists. If you can get 10,000 wish lists from YouTube, amazing work. You've done your job, right? That's the goal, is to do something like 10,000 wish lists. And then hopefully the Steam algorithm continues to generate more wish lists for you, right? Okay, what's the next thing on our list? That worked. Let's make sure that doesn't screw up any of other... Let's make sure that doesn't screw up any of our... Let's make sure that doesn't screw up any of our other weapons. Pick up pistol. This playlist is right here. One of the best. Oh, this freaking YouTube channel. Nemo's Dreamscapes. So good. I'm a huge, huge fan. I think I might have been born in the 1940s and 50s. It's just, for some reason, I'm only 34 years old.
What the hell happened here?
I like old TV. We're getting an issue here, and I don't know why.
Nice. Is this a toy? Guess we'll find out.
Okay, what's the null reference exception here? No, we're good. Oh. It's attempting to show the tooltip. So that's problematic. Let's take a look and see what's going on here. If we take a look at the pickup pistol, you can see that the tooltip is set to nothing here, but for some reason, it's trying to throw that tooltip up. Maybe I'm wrong. Let's try a different one. What about this one? It's set to nothing. So we should not be getting any kind of null reference exceptions with the tooltip. Does anyone have any other questions?
What the hell happened here?
That's awesome, Jay. Jay says, I'm still working on the mechanics, and when the visuals come to life, I get so hyped. And I haven't even made my assets the way I want yet. It's starting to come to life. You know, that's the thing is, anybody like me, I'll even tell people, don't make your visuals until you get the mechanics done. But let's be completely real. I don't even follow my own advice. Because, truthfully, seeing the visuals of your game come to life, it informs the mechanics. That's like saying you should taste your food without smelling it, or you should smell your food without taste. Well, you should smell your food without. It's like saying you should taste your food without smelling it. That's probably the best metaphor I can think of. It's like sometimes in order to do the mechanics, you kind of just have to see the visuals because they kind of work together. Okay, I did get an error there, so I think we're okay. Yeah, I think we're good, guys. Okay, knock yourself out, Hemessy. Knock yourself out. All right. I'm actually surprised that worked. Yeah, we had this problem when it comes to the visuals. Felipe and I had this problem. We had this conversation several times, which was, I always told Felipe, I was like, bro, can you please gray box the level before you set dress it? And he'd say, sure. And then he'd message me 4 hours later and say, can you please let me set dress while I build this? Because I can't, he'd have a hard time gray boxing and doing the level design without doing the visuals with it, which is, you know, it was expensive, but look, that's the way my brain works. So as much as I want to say gray box first, sometimes you just do the visuals, you know? By the way, guys, those of you just joining us, check out Full-Time Game Dev below. See if it's something you're interested in. It's 25% off for the next 5 days, depending on when you click that link. You're going to learn how to make a game in Godot, Unity, or Unreal. Take your pick, whichever engine you want to learn. You don't have to learn them all. You're going to learn how to pitch your game to publishers and turn a demo into a paycheck. You're going to learn how to get funded on Kickstarter. You're going to learn how to hit the Steam front page, get press coverage like Time Magazine, Washington Post, Kotaku, PC Gamer. You're going to learn how to get streamers to play your game like Game Grumps or Game Theory. Was it Game Theorist or Game Theory? GMT Live, they played my games. Game Grumps, all those people have played my games. All of this I've done, and so I teach about it. So check it out below, see if it's something you're interested in. If you want to start a game studio from your bedroom and make indie games, I can't make any promises. I could tell you what I've done, though. So check it out below, see if it's something you're interested in. What was I doing before I started shilling my course? Oh, we were going to test the, I believe it was the fairy wings. For some reason, the fairy wings aren't properly pick up, double jump. We don't need a tooltip for that one. No, Thomas, stop that. Thomas, don't hit play. Pick up midair dash. Here it is. To dash, jump, and press sprint. So that tooltip should show up.
What the hell happened to you?
Yeah, it worked. I'm gonna assume it works, man. Do you think you'll stick with first person for the next game? That's the trouble that I'm having, guys. The game has crafting and it has building mechanics. And those, I'd love your thoughts, guys. The game has crafting and building mechanics. And that's really effective with first person. It's effectively done with first person. But I'll be honest with you guys, I've seen that games that have a third person camera and you can see the character walking around, they do very well, at least on my social media. So if I have a third person character, we get way more engagement. And I also want to make a third person game. I would, if I could snap my fingers and pick a game I really wanted to make, it would be Alice Madness Returns vibes. But I also want to make a game that's a little bit more modern, a little bit more creative. Yeah, I don't want to do that, John. I appreciate it, and I thought about it, but I don't want to do that. Toggling between the two of them. Oh yeah, third person is expensive for sure. All right, that works. Double jump, that works. Bounce shoes, that works. So I believe that's the only one. So I think we can go ahead and clear this out. Grapple, right click shows up when picking up the needler. We finished that, right, guys? Yeah. All right, destroy meshes and enemies that are unnecessary. We had this. This was brought up to us or to me 2 weeks ago, and Gordon, I believe Gordon in the chat. He was like, "Why are you not just deleting the meshes in the enemies?" And I'll show you what I mean in a second. It's because I wasn't sure that the enemies were done, but we have finished the enemies officially in the game, so we can delete all of the meshes. Yeah, we can delete all the meshes. And I'll show you what I mean here. So let's go ahead and push really quick to GitHub. Hey, guys, do you like my old studio or my new studio? The vibes. Does anyone have a, let's say old studio, that was the built-in shelves, or new studio? And I'm not going to be offended either way. All right, let's go ahead and go to Unity here. Or GitHub. Let me open up GitHub. I could smoke cigarettes all day. Oh, save. GitHub. New is kind of cozy. You like the new one? Yeah, we got old. We got new. Well, I can't do that built-in shelves just yet because we're currently renting so that we can build the new house and the new studio. So the new studio is going to be really big, and what I want to do with that is I want the new one because we're building a new house. I want to be able to have it so big that I can have guests fly in for the podcast, and we can do it at a big table, Joe Rogan style. Now I'm curious. I'm like, how do they do this? You know, would a higher tier guest want to fly to my studio and come to the house and do the podcast? And my only way of thinking they might be is if I had a place for them to stay, almost like an Airbnb. And so I'm thinking about doing something like that, having an Airbnb type setup in this massive studio. They could stay there, and then the next day, depending on when they fly in, we do the podcast the next day. So that would be the ideal. And I think the views would go up by like 300%, right? I mean, we would just get 100K views minimum per episode, just because having it set up with really nice cameras. Yeah, it's a big upgrade. 1 FPS stream. Are we getting a slow stream? Hang on, let's see. Hang tight, guys. Let me see if I can fix it. Is that better? Is that better, guys? Okay, I had to cancel a Twitter upload. I have a new episode of the podcast. I could tell you who it's going to be with. Has anybody played Inscription? All right. So the next thing I want to do here yeah, so long story short, what I want to do with the podcast is I want to have guests fly out, stay a night at the property, and then record the podcast at a big giant oak desk. We just hit record, we talk for an hour and a half to 3 hours, and then they fly home. And we get it all in one studio setting. So that's the idea. Yeah, Minoy. So that episode is airing tomorrow. All right, well, I'm going to go ahead and push on GitHub. Hang tight, guys. We're going to push all those fixes really quick. Inscription is perfect. Yep, that's so you pay for their flights? I don't know, maybe. Does this work money-wise? Boy, I don't know. I think so. It would be what, a total of $1,500 to $2,000 per episode. Why not do it remote? Because people seriously, how many of you are going to watch an episode longer if it's actually this beautiful setup? Like, here's the vision, guys. The camera quality is like this, but we've got this huge desk, this huge table with coffee, we've got cigars, we've got Zyn, we've got candles going, you've got this beautiful setup, you've got 3 cameras, one on the guest, one on me, then you've got another one that's sort of panning slowly, right, around this giant studio with beautiful natural light. The quality is equal. This mic is going to be used on both guests. You've got lights that are perfect. Oh man, close-ups of emotions. That would be amazing. That would be amazing. Yeah, at this point, I think sky's the limit of the kind of guests we can get on. Tuckback says, bro just wants a podcast for nicotine. Everything is then justified. Does that sound ideal, guys? We need someone to pull that up. Yeah. I think the talk is important, not the desk. What? I'm not talking about the desk. I'm talking about quality, like a quality video and quality audio. That is so valuable. That's exactly right, Dot. I think people just talk better face to face. That's exactly right, Cyber. Consumers don't realize that they want the subtle details. Yeah, they do. They're going to stick around longer and really engage when they feel like they're in this intimate, beautiful setting. I mean, that's just what happens. I think we would double our views. Right now we're getting 20 to 60,000 views per episode, and I'm like, oh, we'd be at 120,000 easy with like minimum with high quality cameras with the guest there at the studio. I don't see why this podcast can't be like the best podcast in the creative space. Game development is becoming believe it or not, guys, this is crazy. I really believe this. It used to be Hollywood had the ability to gatekeep, and they had sort of this prestige. It was like you become a director and you become an actor. And I don't know if this is me just blowing smoke up my own butt, but now the video game industry is king. The digital interactive industry is king. Because I've had a lot of directors, believe it if this is true, I've had directors reach out and say, hey, I want to get into games, can you help me? I mean, a handful. Okay, a handful. So, and then you got people like Ben Affleck coming on shows with Theo Von, and it's like Theo Von is now actually the king, right? He's the king. not a Hollywood star. So everything's flipping. And so my theory is that making games and interviewing game developers on YouTube is like the greatest thing ever. Charanko, you're misinterpreting it. 120,000 game developers? No, I'm saying 120,000 views. Yeah. Yeah, tuck back. Steven Spielberg reached out. Did I not say who it was? It was Steven Spielberg. Oh man, where's the chat box, by the way? It's not showing up. All right, let's see if we can get the chat going. For some reason, it's not showing up on the screen. That's so weird. Why is that? Oh, it's because it's below this. There we go. Even in the current version of the podcast, I would love to see more footage of the devs' games edited in the relevant memories of the conference. Oh, I just did that. That's such 6 Foot Giraffe. Amazing. Amazing feedback there. Seriously. You know what's funny is you watch someone like Joe Rogan and you say, well, they don't have to do that, and it's like, well, yeah, it's Joe Rogan. But with this podcast, I think you're totally right. I think what I need to do, and I did it with Daniel Mullen's podcast, which is coming out, is frankly every like 10 seconds to 10 to 30 seconds, you need to show footage relevant to what they're saying. And this is mainly because a lot of game developers aren't the most exciting people, and so the footage can help make it more engaging. Whereas a lot of the guests that might come on Theo Vaughn, they're charismatic personalities, and that is like their number one forte, right? Actors, philosophers, politicians. So when it comes to game development, you kind of got to go in there and spice it up a little bit with footage. Yeah, I think 120K views would be the average for the podcast. If it was in a setting like this with a giant table, cameras, coffee, cigars, Zyn in all of my mouth, it would be so many more views. Especially with consistent quality audio and video. So that's the dream. Please, Lord, can you make it happen? Yes. I want to do it, Lord. So can you make it happen? Okay, what are we doing? Oh, we've pushed to GitHub. Let's jump back to our task list here. It's amazing how this task list is just not helping me stay focused. Playlist is this right here. Nemo's Soundscapes or Dreamscapes. If you want to make people watch the pod, well, yes, I agree with you. However, Spotify is doing video now, and I'm actually uploading it right now to Spotify, the whole video. Okay, let's take a look at our tasks. Destroy meshes and enemies that are unnecessary. So I can't show you guys everything, but I can show you at least how this is going to work. Okay, so what we actually need to do here, guys, is we need to start, because okay, every enemy is it's at its core has a variation of an initial prefab, which is this first enemy called Walker. So what we need to do is we need to go to the highest tier prefab variant and drill down from there. Yeah, Jeff, I agree with you. Jeff R says, please don't do spastic rapid fire of only 1 or 2 seconds per scene in the clips you show. Those drive me insane. I can't even focus on what they spam in those kind of clips. Hey, Jason. How you doing, bud? Jason says, new headphones. Aren't these cool, though, guys? Look. I did my research. They've got kind of a retro look. I like them. And they sound great. And they feel great, too. The purpose is more of a natural conversation. Yeah. I don't know if I'm going to do clips, to be completely honest with you guys, for much longer. I think that's actually jumping into the wrong lane with the YouTube algorithm. So I think I'm going to do just beautiful, delicious, long conversations. Now, if I can get game devs to fly out, oh my word. What a phenomenal idea. Jason says, I'm good. I'm just about to start work on my own game. Jason, that footage you sent me on Discord was really cool, by the way. I did watch it. And it's cool seeing the multiplayer working. All right, Thomas, use your brain. We're going to start with the highest tier one, which is Walker Magnum Teleporter. And we're going to go ahead and unpack this. Oh boy. Let's unpack this. I can't unpack that either. Really? Can I unpack this one? Nope. I can unpack him. This is tough. How are we going to do this? I really don't want to unpack completely. But I think we might have to. Well, we could take these graphics here. Man, this sucks. Whew. What happens if I delete these? Can I delete stuff? I can. But if I do this and delete these, and I go to this one, she's going to be gone. Now let's go to the Walker Magnum. There she is. She's not there anymore. Yep. Okay, we got a problem. Ah! Go back to GitHub. We are in a situation here where I'm not quite sure what to do. I think I reached out to your producer about talking about a game dev conversation with Rocket Music and you. Yeah, I'll talk to Hector. I gotta think this through, guys. I need to unpack this. It unpacks there. Can I unpack it again? I need this to be unpacked only. We could potentially copy this and paste it so that it's like this, right? But my worry is that if I delete this, that she won't animate properly. Oh no, she does. That way I could delete all of this. Let's see if that works. And I could just put her here. There she is. We'll try it. So what I did was I duplicated. I just didn't want you guys to see the enemies. What I did was I duplicated this graphic out of the prefab contents, and then I deleted it. So let's double check here. We're gonna put her right here and see if it works. Is Instagram a good place to market your game? Guys, at the end of the day, sorry, I'm talking like who's the guy who owns UFC? Dana White. At the end of the day, what matters is not necessarily is it a good place to market. It's is it easy to click a call to action. That's basically it.
What the hell happened here?
You think you're a prince? You're a prick is what you are. You dare usurp my crown.
It works. Okay. Rock solid, baby. So, guys, the issue here is that we're trying to remove all of these efficiencies or inefficiencies that were in place for production purposes. So, for example, the clown here, we've got all these other graphics that live inside of this clown, and on startup they're destroyed. But that's ridiculous, right? We don't want that. So what the solution here is to duplicate this, pull it out, and delete. That's it. That's all we had to do. Right? And he should animate just fine. There we go. So there's our mesh. Let's go through all of them. Walker rifle. Actually, I can't show you this. Sorry, guys. I don't want to show you too much because then you're going to lose interest in the game. And I don't want you to lose interest. I want you to buy it and give me your money. So we really need that. Does he animate properly? He does. All right. So go ahead and ask questions, guys. Oh yeah, she's amazing. She's an amazing actress. Ask questions, guys. While I can't share my screen, but we could still hang out, okay? What do we make music in? I'll show you. So I usually make music in Logic Pro, but I'm tired of using Mac. I can't keep switching to my Mac to write music, so I'm officially learning Cubase, and it's awesome. Cubase is way better than Logic Pro, honestly, mainly because it's just on the PC. That's enough for me. So, like, this is a track I was writing today. It's not very good, but let me load this up. I'm just practicing. Let me close out Nemo's soundscapes here. So like this is Cubase. Kind of sounds like the underwater theme of Mario. So you can go to like stuff like the mixer here and increase the reverb here, make it sound more like Mario here. You can go to the shaker here, solo that out. That's too much. Let's turn that down. There we go. Let's turn this down. I like this one. Let's turn it down. There we go. Let me go to the back to the beginning here. And what really makes this probably end up working is if you put on some delay, I could actually probably copy this one and put it into the piano. Paste the settings. Let's see here. Let's remove that one, actually. I want to do the studio delay. I like studio delay because you can pick these cool settings. Now it sounds like Mario. We're going to mute the bass. We don't need it right now. But the cool thing about it is obviously, you know, it's connected to the piano. So if I wanted to noodle around, I could do it, you know, but obviously I would move this over here if I was doing a full, like, an actual song, right? Right? You could just mess around and noodle on it. And it's right there inside of your, it's playing through this. Like, for example, this right here. Let me turn this down. And you can play drums. So that's kind of how I write music. I have never live streamed music because I never had it on PC. So yeah, it's really fun. Why does it sound better? I need a snare. Let's do it really quick. So let's duplicate this track. It's funny how all of a sudden it clicks and you're like, oh, that's what it's missing. Let's do a different instrument here. So if we select our VST here, we can load a new preset. I could do a drum kit, you know. Let's see here. Rock kit. Okay. We'll turn on the metronome, and let's find the right instrument. Where's the snare? So that's bass. There we go. It's A and G. So I hit record. Go. You're thinking, wow, Thomas, that sounds horrible. Well, that's called being a bad performer, but I'm a really good producer. So here we go. We're gonna go to 1/16 here. Bang, there we go. And see here. I like having that first initial kick we need to do this. Cut. Did I quantize the proper one? So quantizing is when you, it's just automatic. It's automated, it's automated like rhythm syncing basically. So it's right, yep, cut this one. It's super loud, so hang tight, y'all. It's all about the producing and the editing. I'm a good editor, I'm not a good performer. And that's my magic. That's how I've done everything in my life. I'm really good at editing also in like when it comes to relationships. I'm terrible at performing, but I can edit it so that it seems like I'm really good socially. We're gonna duplicate have this loop. The way you do that is Control K, and you're gonna do a shared copy with 1, 2, 3, 4, 3 counts. So these are basically prefabs, right? This one I'm gonna remove over top of that one. And so the problem with when you loop things, the problem with looping things is it sounds repetitive. So the way to solve this is if I double click this, I can think about, okay, how loud do I want the loudest drum hit to be? Well, I want it to probably be here. So it's do, 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 right? So you're gonna sort of bring these down. That first one's a little too quiet. We could probably create some really cool, like a fun, sort of exciting techno song. So you're like, wow, Thomas, that sucks. I agree with you about the reverb from the drums. Hang tight, y'all. Quantize. Turn it down a little bit here. Yeah, I agree with you about the reverb. Let me turn this off really quick. That was kind of cool. That would be a really cool end sequence actually. Watch this. So if I cut this here, I'm gonna do one here and one here. That was like a really cool end sort of fill almost. So if I cut this, I could bring this over here and we can do that at the last measure. Right here. That almost sounds like the Rippingtons. So let's double check here. We're gonna remove that. And then loop here. And then this. All right, so we're gonna merge all this together. Actually, let's take these two and make a shared copy. And by the way, I'm just learning this, so I'm not gonna be perfect. Okay, so I think I'm fine with this not having, we're gonna have just a simple, what I'm gonna do is take these two shared copies, merge them together. And what you wanna do is, even though they are technically like looping, you're gonna basically take one of them, you're gonna take the whole thing, and then if you put a cymbal, let's go ahead and add one here. A crash here. That's a little loud, wouldn't you say? we go. And then we need a fill here. So we need some kind of cool like wee wee woo 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 woo. Let's go ahead and do a Control K here and loop it all the way. We're gonna add reverb to. Let's turn off this. And what you could do here is, I feel like this right here, we want this to sort of just transition in. So I'm going to cut this so that I can have silence here. So it's sort of a swell. Wait and do boom. Okay. Now we're gonna kill all this crap. And we don't want anything here. I feel like a Christian soccer mom walking through the mall on a Tuesday. Isn't it great? All right, so what are we gonna do here? Well, we're gonna stop doing this. I'm having too much fun. We can't have that. Let's go back to Unity here and finish up our stuff. All right, so let's go ahead and ask away questions, and I can chat with you guys while I work. Walker machine gun. Let's take a look at that one. That's good. Walker deadlier. All right. Jeb, stop. No. And by the way, guys, as you're just joining us, I cannot share my screen with you. Are we made in URP? Yes, it's in URP. I can't share my screen with you guys because there's a little too much I got to do here. That is confidential, right? And you know, a lot of the stuff, guys, with a great track is the mix and the effects and the reverb. And the delay and all that stuff. So you could take something like that's super simple and make it sound really awesome with a really good mix, you know. When am I going to finish what? And what I'm doing right now is I'm just getting all the enemies finalized. I just can't show you them. Thanks for sharing the piano music. Thomas, thanks for the great... What was it? What was it? Will you finish it or will you give up? Don't be so dramatic. No, that's not. I'm not writing a song. I'm learning. I'm learning Cubase right now, and so the best way I've learned, and I've recommended this to you guys before as well, is the best way to learn is to make something, And so I might finish it, I might not, or I might want to say, okay, well, I made a cool Soccer Mom song. I'm going to also just move forward and then make a more cinematic song or something. Okay. Almost done here with these enemies. Oh boy. Dang it. Ladies and gentlemen, we have an issue here with the walker, with the elephant enemy. So I need to fix that. I know you can't see the screen. I need to go back to the walker machine gun. And discard the changes there. Okay. We're almost there, guys. One sec. And then I'll be able to share my screen. Any other questions? By the way, why did you choose Cubase? I'd recommend you Ableton Live if you get any chance to still switch. The workflow of Ableton is second to none. The only thing Cubase is lacking. Well, that's exactly why I chose Cubase, because of familiarity with Logic Pro. So Ableton, I've heard, is kind of a loop workflow, whereas Cubase and Logic Pro are more of a linear workflow. So I like Cubase. I mean, and this is just sort of proofs in the pudding. When I opened up Cubase, I immediately knew what to do. So I really like Cubase a lot. It's very similar to Logic Pro, in my opinion. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and try to finish up these enemies here. Good. Oh boy. So far, so good. This lion, get rid of the lion. Okay, good. Keep asking questions, guys, though. That's why I chose Cubase, to give you an answer, though. Uh-oh. Crap. Okay, walker, runner, teleporter. So the walker deadlier. I have an issue with that one. Okay, almost there, guys. Why did I choose Unity over UE? Because of, again, workflow. The paradigm, right? That's really all it comes down to. And often, you know, this is what I think people get confused. This isn't a slight. I think it's just, it is true though. Game developers or musicians, composers, who are new to the craft like to think in terms of which engine is better. Seasoned game developers who've been doing it a long time like to think in terms of which is better for them. Totally different way of thinking about engines. You have somebody who is working or coming from the Flash era, they're going to like Unity. You got a new 17-year-old high school student who wants to get into game dev. It's probably going to be better for Unreal because they're not trying to learn a new paradigm, right? It really comes down to the framework and the paradigm. Yeah. Okay, so anyway, let's double check something here. Okay, so we got a weird issue with this duck enemy. Okay, we're almost there. Fair point about feeling good in Cubase when opening it the first time. But as you say, you choose Unity because of workflow. That's why I recommend you Ableton. I switched from Cubase to Ableton after 10 years. Well, that's fine, but I really like Cubase. So, but I appreciate that. Thank you. Okie dokie. And you might be right. Honestly, I'm not going to argue with you. Almost there, guys, and then I can share my screen. There's the best engine, and then there's the best engine for you, right? There's the best software, and then there's the best software for you, right? All right, I think all the enemies are done here. I've cleaned them up so that they don't have to delete a bunch of meshes. Give me just a sec here, guys. Okay, one sec. ZNA is much better. Hey Thomas, I'm having a hard time learning game dev, but I'm using the same room, desk, and monitors as my full-time job. I can't get into the right mindset, and creativity feels drained. Any advice? Well, the way you framed that is almost like I frame things with ChatGPT. I'm expecting them to tell me an answer. I think what you want me to say is you want me to say to go find a better studio, but I don't think that's the solution. I think that getting into the right mindset is a problem. One of the problems with mindset is that no matter how hard you try, if you don't have an end goal in mind or some kind of visualization about what you want the future to look like, it's so hard to get into the right mindset. The reason why you're in the right mindset for your full-time job is because you're going to get a paycheck. And so it's easy to get into that mindset because you have that security of knowing, well, every second I do something, I get paid to do it. So with making a game, I don't think you need a new environment. I think you need a visualization. You need to visualize what you're trying to achieve. What are you going to get in a year? What's the goal? After you finish a full year of working on your game, is it going to be done? What do the reviews look like? Write out those reviews. I'll put those reviews on my wall, or I'll write them down. Like, what do I want Kotaku to say? What do I want PC Gamer to say? What do I want? Which streamers do I want to play the game? How much money is the game going to make? And I visualize exactly what I get out of it. And that makes it so much easier to actually follow through and finish something. So, yeah, that's the idea. What am I doing? Move, there we go. Clean up the teddy bear, good. B Studio says, I want to say your videos have meant a lot to me over the past few years. They've really helped me keep going for a long game dev journey. Yeah. I agree with you there, Spectrum. Oh boy. Dang it. Okay, we need to go. Give me just a sec, guys. This is a really painful process. Essentially what I'm doing is I'm deleting a bunch of meshes. The problem is that deleting a bunch of meshes, it's hard to explain, but all of my enemies have a root prefab. And so if I delete the root prefab's unnecessary meshes, all of the prefab variants that are created from that root no longer have them. So I have to go reverse. I have to delete the unnecessary meshes from the variants at the top all the way down to that initial one. It's kind of a pain in the butt. But we're almost there. Almost there. Ah! That's not right. Give me a sec, guys. I'm trying to think of something here. Ah, yes. Any other questions, guys? Hey, Thomas, I'm rooting for you, and I hope the final stretch of the product goes well. Good. Anyone have an idea why my human mesh, this is from Spectrum, which is UV unwrapped like Thomas showed in a tutorial, won't take my changes I paint into Photoshop? What software are you using, Spectrum? Well, you're thinking about it backwards. You have to re-import. If you change your UV in Blender, it's going to screw up all of your textures in Photoshop. You have to start over. If you're going to change your UV, oh yeah, I'm going to assume you're changing your UV. If you change your UV, it's going to screw up your textures. Also, if you're changing a Photoshop document and saving it, when you go back into Blender, you have to re-import the Photoshop document texture. We got some lag. Sorry, guys. It's just the way it is. Gotta do runner exploder first. Dang it. Okay, give me a sec. Shoot. You guys good? Are we good? Are we back? Does that potentially help you when it comes to the UV? If you're trying to update that UV in Blender, you have to do it manually. It's not like Unity where it just updates on the fly. Okay, so we need to go to the runner exploder. Yes, got it. Okay. This is such a surgical process here. Okay. Shoot. Okay. Shoot. Okay, I think we're good, guys. Shoot. Ah! Sorry, I know this is boring, guys. Give me just a sec here. I know this is boring. Give me just a sec. Going crazy here. Okay. Okay, we're good. We're good. Good. Oh, we're so close. I want to go to Disney World. Okay. Almost there. Almost there. Good. Ooh! Almost there. All right, so what I've done is basically every enemy now only has a single mesh inside of it. Originally, it was like 15 meshes, and they all get destroyed based on what type of enemy they are. They get destroyed on start, and we don't want to do that. So we're going to remove... No, that's good, actually. We want to keep the random material swapper. So yeah, they're all their own... wait, that one even we need to remove. Yep, there we go. So they're all their own mesh now. So this was causing potentially a lot of issues when it came to loading in a scene, because you have all of these meshes getting destroyed. Like, that's potentially like 300 meshes destroying on start, which is hugely ineffective. We have an issue here. Hold on. Wow. Hold on, guys. Tons of random meshes just living rent-free inside of my... there's more inside of my objects. This is crazy. So many. Wow, okay. Really cleaned that up. Well, we're not enabling and disabling. We're destroying. Yeah. No, we're not instantiating enemies. In this case, we're not instantiating enemies. Yes, you're right, null script. But we were destroying a bunch of meshes, which is not good. So yes, you're correct. You're correct. We're going to double check and make sure everything works here. I can kind of show you guys the enemies that are in the demo. I think that's fine. Yeah. This is a temporary studio. This is my rental. Let's see if this works. Works for me, man. Okay. Yeah, right. It's most of these are made at start. I will say during the arena though, they're instantiated, which is fine. I don't know. Thomas, would you consider yourself a gym rat? No, I'm not a gym rat. But I do like. I go to the gym every day. I didn't go today because I am going to be. Well, I got a lot of hours to get in today. I got a lot of hours, a lot of work I need to get in. Yeah, it's okay to destroy, but we're in this case, I'm destroying like 1,000 enemies, or I'm sorry, like 200 meshes, and we don't want to do that. So that's all done. Yay! That actually makes me really happy. I didn't realize it would be that simple. So let's go ahead and push this to GitHub. What was I doing? Oh, pushing to GitHub. Final fixes. All right, for those of you just joining us, just remember to check out Full-Time Game Dev below if you want to start a video game studio from your bedroom and you want to make indie games and make money doing it. I can't make any promises, but I can tell you what I've done. And that course below has 4,500 students worldwide. There is a 30-day money-back guarantee, meaning, look, if it's not for you after 30 days or before a total of 30 days, you'll get an instant refund, no questions asked. All you got to email is thomas@fulltimegamedev.com, and you'll get your refund. So there's really no risk here. Check it out below. Use that 25% off coupon. You're going to learn not only how to make a game in Godot, Unity, or Unreal, whichever one you want to learn, 2D or 3D, but you also learn how to get publishers to publish your game, how to get hit the Steam front page, how to get funded on Kickstarter. There's a ton of stuff that you're going to learn, and you're going to learn from someone who's actually done it. So click the link below, check that out, see if that's something you're interested in. What other things there's a guy who's been blowing leaves for the whole day. It's been 6 hours. Arm day. All right, what else do I got on my list here? Destroy meshes in the enemy that are unnecessary. Well, we did that. We have a really interesting... Oh, stop blowing leaves. Please, Lord, can you make him freaking stop? Destroy meshes in the enemies that are unnecessary. Let's undo that one. This right here. Yep. Clear that. All right. I honestly don't know what the heck is going on. Okay. Destroy sides that are unnecessary. This is going to be an interesting problem to solve here. So basically what we're going to do here is there are a lot of parts of levels. So for example, floor 1. There's a lot of parts of levels that have a bunch of stuff that just live there, and they're really sides of the level that are randomized. So what I mean is, so let me show you. If you've played the demo, you know that this side is unnecessary. You know that's unnecessary, right? You know that this left side is unnecessary. You know that that's unnecessary if we only go on the right side here. Yet all of this stuff exists. Now, is there value in destroying this? I don't think there's value in destroying this stuff because it's deactivated by default. You know? I mean, it's a... I think it's a memory issue. Wouldn't you say? It's a memory issue. So look, when I hit play, this stuff on this side is not relevant to the game because the right side is what you're probably what you're going to play. It's randomized, but let's just assume that the right side is what you play. The left side is all deactivated. It's never going to become activated, ever. This whole side over here will never get activated during this playthrough. So my theory is that, do I need to destroy this area? I don't think I do. It's not going to increase performance at all. It's memory. Right? This is a memory issue, not a GPU or CPU issue. The game doesn't really have memory issues. I feel like, no, it's not even called out. It's disabled. It's never enabled. So my theory is it's a memory issue and it's not going to solve much problems for us. In fact, it may even cause more problems because you're going to destroy on start. I agree, Jason. Well, that's a massive undertaking, Alex. I wish you could activate objects recursively. Don't you guys? Don't you wish you could activate objects recursively? Let's ask Grok. Okay, let me answer this message from Daniel Mullins. Because I want to get this video live. Yeah, so that's not gonna help. Destroying the sides that are unnecessary, that's not gonna help our optimization issues for the game. So I'm gonna remove that, but I do wonder, is it possible to activate objects recursively or additively? I'm asking Grok, is it possible to activate objects in Unity without an FPS dip? What else? What do you call that? It's not a dip. It's a it's a in a routine. It's like slow. I wish there was an activate object slowly function. A frame drop, yeah. An FPS dip / frame drop. I'm activating hundreds of objects at once, and it causes a frame dip. A frame hitch, that's what it is. Thank you. All right, let's see what Grok says. Activating hundreds of objects at once in Unity can cause a frame hitch due to the overhead of enabling game objects, which triggers various Unity systems. To minimize or eliminate FPS dips, you can use several optimization strategies. Spread activation over multiple frames. Okay, that's one object, or one solution. Pre-instantiating objects at startups and keeping them deactivated in a pool. No, that's not how it's not going to work. Use entity component systems. Batch rendering. If objects are render heavy, use GPU instancing for identical meshes. Okay. There's a question here, which is if I do want to batch my meshes in the game because there's like thousands of meshes in the game, and we need to batch them and combine them. So I wonder if we want to combine them first before we even want to try to do any of this stuff. I don't love this because some objects require other objects to be active. You know? I don't love this because certain objects require other objects to be activated. And I think that's just going to cause a ton of null reference exceptions. No, I totally understand that. Totally mental games. I do understand that. But there's certain objects like this one here. I'll show you. There's certain objects like look at this. Here's an example. It's like, why not just combine, this set with Mesh Combiner? I don't know. It's just a thought. No. I mean, it's not a loading problem. It's an activation problem. It's not a loading problem. We're not loading anything. It's activating. Right? Yeah, I'm trying to solve this. It's an interesting conundrum. I could show you guys it in action. we're using trigger zones that activate various objects as we move through a level. That's what we're doing, Gyro. But it's not loading, it's activating, right? So if we zoom out, I'll show you how it's working. And obviously we're using occlusion culling, but you could see here, this area, all of the objects are activated. But this area over here, nothing is activated, right? And that's a good thing. We don't need all this activated. Make sense? And then we make our way through the level. And this area will activate, but you're going to see a hitch. The hitch will occur right about now. There it is. Did you see it? And that's because of all these objects activating. There's part of me that thinks there's just a ton of... I mean, no matter what you do, even if you get rid of all of the debugs, it's still going to have a hitch. So, yeah, we're activating hundreds of objects at once. Let me ask Rock, is it possible to activate an object and its children if it's a prefab? When you activate a parent game object, all its children are automatically activated. Oh, that's right. Duh. Okay. I mean, let's try this. We'll see if this works. What's going on in the start here? I don't like... Okay. I like this script okay. The activating of the objects, I like that. So let's do this. We're going to go to our object activator script. Could it be this simple? Yeah, well, we're not going to do it by small batches. We're going to do it within the context of like 5, maybe 3 seconds. 1, 2, 3. Let's push on Discord or on GitHub first, though. So, by the way, there's 2 performance issues that we're trying to solve with this game. The first one is frame hitches, and then the other one is just frame rate being low consistently. Oh, we already pushed on like Steam Deck. A child cannot be active if its parent isn't, though. Right. So basically, we're just going to go ahead and activate the parent objects, and my hope and theory is that, boy, we'll see. We'll see here. So I'm going to open up the object activate trigger here, and start go root. Okay, so this is our object activate trigger. Object activate trigger. It's very messy. Okay. We can activate 2 objects. All right. Got it. Okay. So what we're going to do is paste this script here, activate all objects. Objects per frame, that's cool. It's so you could choose the speed. I love that. And then we're going to start with like a parent group. Okay. Add. Let's create a new list. We need to create a new list here. This is going to be kind of confusing, but hang tight. This is really what we're doing is we're working with a 3-year-old script here that's a mess. Okay. So basically on start, we're going to create these various object pools. Can we do it this way? Really? There's object 1 pool. There's object 2 pool. There's our list. There's 2 lists. There's going to be 4 lists. It's a mess. Just believe me, it's a mess. And then we're going to do a comma here. That's going to be a list. Which pool? Beep. Why can't I do a list there? Maybe I need to like this. You have to determine what it is. There we go. So this function is going to go through a list, and we're going to tell it which one to do it to, right? What's the error here? Why is there an error there? Oh, it needs to be defined? Does it need to be defined? So object 1, what that is it's a giant group of objects. Object 2 is like an optional group of objects that we can activate as well. It's a mess, believe me. So we're going to go ahead and just do object 2 here. We're going to do deactivate which object 1. There it is. And then this one's deactivate which object 2. Okay. Wow. Beautiful. Beautiful code, Thomas. Brilliant. It needs to come second. Okay, right. Yep, correct. You're right, correct. Good, thank you. That was great. I loved it. Just for consistency's sake, just so we don't go crazy here. All right, good. Oh, I agree with you, Caballero. I totally agree with you. No, here's why we're not going to clean this code. It's like scaffolding, okay? The game is about to be released. And what's happened is every prefab, and there's like potentially 1,000 prefabs in this game where this object activator trigger script is being used. And I've precisely assigned which areas of the map are being loaded. And what's happening is, if I change this code too much, and I change the core variable, the assignments go away, and I have to go in and drag in every assignment on each level. So that's right, it looks like mom's spaghetti, and sometimes mom's spaghetti was fine. It was good enough for a Wednesday night, right? Here we go. In itself, set active is not expensive, is what I read. Correct. But components enabling and disabling, meshes enabling and disabling, lights, shadows, all of that stuff enabling is expensive. Right? There's rigid bodies, there's physics, right? There's a bunch of stuff. So we're going to try this out, see what happens, guys. All right, we've got a nice little coroutine here. These are where the objects get activated. And what we want to do here is on awake, what we want to do is we want to add all of the objects in activate which object to activate which object. Activate which object. We're going to change that to which object pool. There we go. Using it knows what it needs to do. There we go. Okay. So this is a for loop that's going to be created. So what I'm going to do is create a new function called add objects to list. Whew. So basically all of the objects right on start, all of the objects in that parent object, all of the children are going to get added to the list. Whew. Is it possible, let's try this, add all of the objects that are active by default to the object pool? Does that work? Dang, this isn't gonna work. Okay. Add all of the objects, but only if they're active by default. So it's only going to activate the ones that are currently active by default. Man, this is rough, but we're going to try it. Because there's a lot of objects that aren't active by default. Okay. Add objects to list. And we're going to choose the game object. which object? Good. When I is lower than the child count, then add them all. But only if they're active. Right? Whew. And add them. It adds them to the correct pool. It's a list of game objects. Which pool? Okay. So now we need to go ahead and add, on awake, we need to add all of them to all of this. So now it's going to automatically add the various objects to activate. Which object? Activate which object to, and then this is which object to object pool. Right? Same is true with the deactivate. Let's figure this out here. Does deactivating thousands of objects in Unity take as much time in a frame as activating thousands of objects? What do we think, guys? Do we want it to handle both? Well, the problem with this, okay? You said just handle it with both. The problem with this is that as we make our way through the level, certain things will get activated. And having the parent just close it makes it a lot easier. Brent Todd, that's what we're doing. All right. Yep, so the activation, yeah, we could do this. We could say it's a Boolean, set active equals true. That's its Boolean. It's its default value. Okay. This right here is bool set active equals true. That's its default. Actually, no, we can just do it here. There we go. And then we say set active to set active, right? I have a theory this is going to cause some serious problems, but we're going to go ahead and try this out. Here we go. If activate which object exists, do it to this list. Oh my goodness, it's activate object object. We don't want that. We're almost there actually, guys. Deactivate object pull. Deactivate object to pull. My brain hurts. Why am I getting errors here? Activate object pull does not exist. Oh. Okay, scroll down here, same thing. Activate which object pull, activate object pull. There we go. And this one's going to be activate which object, activate object to pull. And we'll put all of the proper variables in there. So it's going to be true or false, true. So activate. Objects per frame. We're going to do it slow so we can see it. Same here. This is 2. And then this is going to be false. And it's going to be deactivate object pull. False. False. 5. This is 2. Here we go. Oh my goodness. I'm scared to press play. Good thing we pushed all of this, and I mean, I'm expecting some crazy hang-ups here. None of it's going to be used on start. It's only during a trigger event. So, we're going to see if we can watch it occur. This might really work. Basically, guys, what we're creating is an asynchronous load that occurs within the context of like 5 seconds. And hopefully the hitches are minimal. Whoa. Already got a glitch there. I wonder why that happened. Hello? Hello? Buzz? Uncle Frank? Where are you guys? What? I wonder if we got it. We're getting like a null reference exception at the beginning. For some reason, that door. Something has it's something to do with the list. Oh my goodness. It's right here. That's one issue. That's right, Jason. Uh, Activate me should only be firing when I trigger something. Whoa. My brain. Okay. If the if activate which object name starts with D or E, we want to use the activate all objects function. Oops, let's do this. Or function. Come on. If the activate which object starts with a E or a D, then we want to activate them, the list, using activate object pool. Why doesn't it want to build the... There it goes. I think it's writing it. Why did that not work? It could be Caballero. I tried Unity 6 twice and it didn't do anything. It didn't help. We need a new function here. So we need to simplify this. But let's write the conditions first. If the activate which object name starts with E or D. Okay, it should write it. Go on. I've noticed that about Copilot. Yeah, I've never written a script where we use starts with, like a condition. Null script, we already know what it is. I've already done that. I've already done all that. I know exactly why the hitch is happening. It's because we're activating 1,000 objects. Okay, here we go. I just needed to know what the condition was. If activate which object.name starts with E or D, then you're going to do this pool activation, right? Otherwise, just do a standard one. That's really annoying. Otherwise, we're going to do a standard one, which is activate object pool, or no. Activate which object dot set active equals true. That was what was going on with that door. Pretty straightforward. This is going to be a massive function. Activate all objects using activate all objects conditionally. I don't know a better way to put it. And the conditional check is going to be which object. Okay. We're going to do which object, and we're going to do true or false. Boolean is active or set active. If which object blah 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 blah, and then you say which object dot activate objects. Which object? Let's think here. We also need a pool. Let's think here. Why is it doing that? Oh. The list, and then it's a bool set active. All right. Which object pool, and then set active. Otherwise, this right here. Which object set active which set active, yep. Okay, so we have all these freaking functions here. Now, here we go. This is the biggest mess I've ever seen. Activate all objects conditionally. Which object one? Let's put that up there. If which object, activate which object equals this, boom. Activate which object 2, boom. And this is going to be which object pool. Activate which object pool, true, good. true. False. Now, for those of you who are just joining us and you're like, why isn't he cleaning up the initial impetus of all of this, which is why not use a list for the various object groups you want to activate? Why is he using which object 1 and which object 2? Because we've used this system throughout the entire game and we've manually dragged in all of the references for every single object activation trigger. And if I change it, it's gone, and I have to redo it all. I have to go through every single level and redo all of the object activation triggers. So really, it's the Thomas you should blame is the Thomas 3 years ago who created this mess. Deactivate object pool. Nope. If deactivate object 1. Wait. Yeah, there it is. There we go. Do this, do this. Good, good, good. And boom. Beep, beep. Bare minimum, this was a fun little experiment. So what are we trying to do? If a game object starts with E or D, and that's how our naming conventions work in this game. Those are considered giant folders of objects. They're sections of levels, massive sections of levels that enable or disable, or activate and deactivate. If that's the case, then we need to go ahead and do a big old fat object activation that takes, that does 5 objects per frame. Slowly, like Minecraft, appearing. Otherwise, do it instantly because it doesn't even have that many objects. Let's go. Is that the correct name? Yeah, you could see the conventions here. These are giant objects here. But there's certain things that won't activate like this right here, right? Let's enter play mode here. Game object clear. But if the children and parents are saved as active, one instance you set to active, and then when you need to set active, all of the children will follow suit. We'll see. We'll see. Hang on. I just want to see if this works. Like, to some degree. Okay, let's see if the door gets fixed here. This should be fixed. Yay. Okay, that works. So that's good.
Hello. Hello.
Tiny, I have a confession to share. It's about the prize.
Okay, here we go.
With little care, the prize is not quite what you'd expect. It's true.
Hello? Mom? Dad? Okay, let's see if the list was even made. We have all these object activation triggers. So we're going to select them all and find out where they are. So there's one right here. This is the object activation trigger. It's right there. There it is. Is the list generated? Well, it's not public, or it's not serialized. So let's go ahead and serialize it. We're going to try again, and we're just going to look and see if this is even generating a list, right? So something's breaking throughout these various functions. What? Something's frozen. Okay. All right, here's the list. It's empty. And it should spawn the list. And all of them will spawn immediately. These giant pools. There we go. That's great. That's what we want. Now, deactivate which object. That's not spawning a list, which is great. Because, wait for it. We don't have a deactivate which object too. So that's great. All right. I should really rename it to deactivate which group. Okay. For some reason, the activation is not occurring. So that we're going to find out where is it. There we go. Okay. Activate which objects. Activate all objects conditionally. Okay. So let's do a little debug here. Debug.log. Activate objects now. And they are which object pool, right? Debug.log. Activate single object. We are making progress. Yeah, yeah, yeah. All right. Let's go ahead and test it out.
Welcome. Hello.
Tiny, I have a confession to share. It's about the prize, so handle it with care. The prize is not quite what you'd expect.
Activate object pool now. Which object? Why did it happen 5 times? What? Oh! Wow. You have to activate the self of that object. That's the problem. What is this called? This is called the door choice hub. Okay? This needs to be active for any of this to be relevant. See? Okay, so we need to set that object itself active first, but only the active self. Yeah, so what we need to do is which object we need to set active. What is set active recursively? What is that? It's deprecated. Is it possible to use set active recursively in the... I know what it is. I used it 6 years ago. Yeah. Which object dot active self equals set active. Oh, that's a read only. Set active self. How do you do set active self? This is a big problem. Ooh, oh. Wait, let me think here. You can't use self. No, that's not it. Man, the problem with this is man. what what we're gonna have to do is activate all objects, set it to false. What do you do? Is it this? No, it's this. The opposite of this. And we need to do like 1,000. And then set the object active to false. So you basically deactivate everything. Then you set the object active to false. Or the opposite of whatever it is. And then you activate everything. This is going to be terrible. The computer's going to catch fire. Well, it's not going to be slow because it's checking a single object string. Gyro, that's what we're doing. That's what we're doing. Okay. So what's happening here is if it's saying, okay, I want you to activate an object. It's saying, okay, we're going to activate everything, or we're going to deactivate everything in the list. We're going to activate the parent object and then activate all the children. Bing, bang, boom. Honestly, we should do this. Yep. Ooh. This should be done when the list is generated. So when the list is generated, we then deactivate this right here. Yeah, we deactivate this. We deactivate that object. Do 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 do. Ba 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 ba. Okay. Okay. So we're adding a bunch of objects to a list. No, we don't want to do it here. Because we're adding objects to lists, and sometimes those objects are actually activated by default. So what we need to do, we say if which object is active. If it's not, then we can go ahead and deactivate all those objects, all the children. No. Sadly, I think this is going to have to happen at runtime, which is a real shame. Boy, this is going to be tough. Now let's look. That's set to active, and it shouldn't be. Those should all be deactivated. Why is that not doing it? Wow. No, we're not going to do it here. We don't want to do any kind of stuff with object activation until here. Activate all objects. Which object pool? Set active. We're going to set this to the opposite of it. We're going to do it fast. In a frame. So we deactivate everything. Okay. This is hilarious. How do I deactivate everything instantly? The problem, guys, here's what's going on. I can't just activate the parent object and then activate all the children without all of them being deactivated to begin with. The problem with doing that is it's redundant. I'm going to have to deactivate them here. Yeah, I agree with you there, but I'm not sure that solves anything. But we can try that. Because at the end of the day, if an object is a child and it's deactivated, if this is deactivated, it doesn't matter if I activate this. It doesn't do anything. Look. It doesn't do anything. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we've got to figure out this solution. We're gonna, but not today. Be sure to check out Full-Time Game Dev below to learn how to secure funding from a publisher. Guys, making games is going to be a pain in the butt, just like it was today. Welcome to Game Dev. That's how it goes. Even if you're an idiot like me, you can still make games full-time. Trust me, I've done it. I can show you how to do it. So check out Full-Time Game Dev below. You get 25% off for the next 5 days. If you want to learn Unity, Godot, Unreal, but more importantly, and you can pick whichever engine you want to learn, but more importantly, how to secure funding from a publisher, secure funding from Kickstarter, hit the Steam front page, get press coverage, get YouTubers to play your game. Check it out below. But Thomas, your coding sucks. Well, what am I supposed to tell you? You know, you could be a terrible coder and somehow, like me, still get funded. I'm currently funded by 3D Realms. I've been published by Armor Games, Serenity Forge. So, hey, if an idiot like me can make games, so can you. So check out the link below. And if you're a student, let me know what you think about it in the chat. I love you guys.